So they just announced today that they're doing a reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and apparently Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are in talks to return to their roles from the first movie. And I don't know, I have a lot of thoughts on that. Just kind of a background. I don't love this franchise. I'm not someone who's always been a fan. I've seen the first movie, and I like it well enough. You know, Kevin Williamson's always great, so there's no problems there. I've never seen 2 or 3, but no, I don't think the first one's the best movie. I think it's a perfectly serviceable slasher movie from the 90s, which, you know, is not my favorite era, but, you know, who's to say that it's not someone else's favorite and that someone else can't love this movie? It's just not me. And I think, though, the fact that I'm not someone who just loves this franchise and loves the original movie kind of separates me a little bit and just kind of makes me take a look at this and just think, I can't help but feel like it's just a wash, rinse, repeat situation of what they've been doing with every other horror franchise. And you know, listen, I'm being biased. It's just because I don't love this franchise that, you know, I don't really care about this. I'm sure that if they announced another entry in another franchise that I love and said that the original stars were coming back, that I'd be over the moon about it, but I'm just not with this. And it's just, I see this trend of these horror movie reboots where they talk about bringing back the old cast, you know, rounding up the old gang, and then having some passing of the torch type movie. And that's what they're saying about this too, which is just so bizarre to me. What is there to pass down? Thinking you killed somebody and then lying about it for a whole year and, you know, trying to pretend it didn't happen. I just don't really understand what there is to pass down. I mean, I understand the fisherman could come back, whatever. There's avenues for this return. But the thing though is, I think that deviates too much from the original concept, and you're just bringing back the original characters and doing this legacy sequel that, you know, I'm sure there's people who asked for it. I didn't. I'd almost rather just see some kind of remake, and I know I'd never watched that TV show, and judging by the fact that it didn't get renewed, it probably wasn't very good, or just maybe enough people didn't watch it and it was good. I wouldn't know because I didn't pay attention to it. And I don't mean to be so negative, but it just feels like every franchise wants to do this, and it's just so predictable. It's something that I really hope they don't do with The Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, the second they announced Heather Langenkamp's coming back and Robert Englund's coming back, and you know, I'm just really not interested in seeing these legacy sequels really anymore. Just ever since Halloween 2018 did it, so many other franchises are doing it, and they're just doing it to a lot less successful of a degree. Really, the only ones that I can think of that were that successful were, off the top of my head, maybe Scream. And even then, Scream takes a clever approach to it because it actually keeps all the original continuity from the first 4 movies. All it does is kind of just put a clever twist on it, and it, you know, makes meta commentary of all that stuff that, you know, kind of has been going on with the rebootquels and the horror and everything. So that's just an entirely different game of its own, I'd almost argue. And again, if you're excited for this, you know, all the power in the world to you. I wish that I could say the same. Again, it's just, you know, I'm not a fan of this franchise. I like the first movie okay, but, you know, that's about it. So I really just don't have any interest in this. I don't see a need for it, to be honest. But, you know, again, you could pretty much say that with every horror franchise if you really wanted to. So if people are asking for it, if people want it, you know, hey, I'm perfectly willing to be wrong. If it's great, I'm perfectly willing to be wrong. You know, I don't root against any movie. I hope it is good, but I just don't see it, and it just feels like another one of these situations like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from last year, where they just, you know, want to ignore the continuity of the sequels, just, you know, do a streamlined direct sequel to the original, bring back the original characters, and then have them come back for some kind of vendetta or something. Who knows? You know, I don't know. I just hope that they put some kind of clever twist on it so that it really isn't just a wash, rinse, repeat sequel like we've seen with these with this template of rebootquels. And you know, if they do something interesting with it, do something different, and don't just have it be like the main characters have been waiting years for the fisherman to come back. They do something like that. If they do something just different, interesting, that's all they got to do. Just set themselves apart just a little bit, and then maybe I'll be a little bit more on board. But just the news itself does not excite me at all. I really just don't see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you excited to see this movie? Let me know. Happy to be wrong. So see you next time.